I had the most beautiful dream, the most like simple dream, and it was I got in the car wash that morning in the during waking consciousness, right? Like literally, I'd gotten the car wash that day, and then that night when I was sleeping, I had the most shallow, beautiful dream, and I dreamt, oh no, it rained. I just washed the car. Darn it, that's annoying, And then I woke up and it was raining, but it was just nice because it was the simplest, dumbest, most shallow concerns. And sometimes, it's kind of like those pertain to the smallest, most perfect things in life. And a Cadillac is one of those small, perfect things. Just like a pleasant dream or a nice moment with a friend where you kind of say, hey, did you see that? So that's what we're going to get into today of sharper marketing. It's did you see that? And what I'm talking about is the dealership experience. So let's get going here. That's right. Cadillac CT4 2023. Soon to be 2024. And in 2024, will you be you in 2024? I don't know where I'm going with this. I was actually thinking about the stuff I saw in the dealership. We're talking about the dealership experience, right? So a friend of mine pointed this out, that when American companies market their products in spaces, that the product or the whatever it is never actually fills the space. So you have a car and it's out in the desert doing donuts, or it's driving real fast out in the middle of the American desert, and it seems so alien there. You can tell the car doesn't belong, right? It's the intruder. And my friend, who's not an American, doesn't even live in America, not even a Westerner technically, but lives over in Europe, yeah, she pointed this out, and I said, you know what, that's a really good observation, that it winds up being pretentious, I guess, is what I'm saying. And sure enough, when I walked into the Cadillac dealership, there are big TV screens showing cars driving in the desert, and it could have been any car, honestly, Mazda, Zoom Zoom, or whatever. And then it had the most generic slogans, unfortunately. It said something like, I want to say, be authentic. And I'm in there and I'm thinking, like, look, I didn't make the car. I wasn't born into the Cadillac family. I'm not the son of President Cadillac, let's say, right? So it's not like, I guess the notion is, because this is how a lot of American marketing works. You can lean into product, and then that can be the crutch of yourself or your personality, or that will fill the void, or I don't know how it is you'd exactly say it. The dealership, right? You have these TV showing these advertisements. You have these generic slogans, be authentic. And I'm like, I just want a Cadillac. I'm not, there's a reason why I love them, but I'm not mistaking this. I'm putting the value into it. I'm not mistaking it for an extension of myself. I just like them, no different than I like wearing suits, or I like any number of things that I like, based on my subjective valuing standpoint, right? So anyways, inside the dealership, here's the thing, it's a dealership on the nice side of town, so usually you set an appointment for those, but unless you're me, you just walk in and you're like, yeah, I want to look at this car, and you do that. So I went in there and I did that, and they're kind of showing me around, and originally I was thinking of CTS, and honestly, I hadn't been paying attention to that much to TV or certain things, so I didn't even know the CT4 existed, and it's not like they're marketing, be authentic, cars in the desert. It's not like any of that mattered to me or said anything. That didn't speak to me. That didn't move me. That, I was there because the car had moved me a long time ago, so to speak. And I guess what really made it was, honestly, it was a test drive. It was just driving the car. That's what really sold me on it. And also my saleswoman, or I guess salesperson, is that politically correct? Saleswoman. My saleswoman, she did it. She was amazing, right? She's very conducive to a educational and fun time in selling me the car. Oh, I know. We're always forgetting. Or no, I'm always forgetting. There we go. Yeah, I know. It's probably been there since the last video. Whoops.
Trying not to talk much over here.
Right. So it rained. No. But anyway, so Vanessa, my saleswoman, she was great. She definitely sold me on the car, had a good time. And from there, one of the, I guess the salespeople, or not salespeople, one of the managers, I don't know. She says to me, Cadillac, did she say it's the only American luxury car or the oldest? I don't remember. But she didn't need to tell me that, right? She didn't need to sell me on that. Oh, they wanted to race. Dang. We win. No, only American luxury car. It's like, okay, yeah, I knew that. You didn't have to tell me that. I was already sold on the car. I'm buying the car. Now's not the time, but it's not her fault. It's more like, what would you say? Where's this guy going? All right, so long as he's not going for us. What I was trying to recall here was, yeah, you could just tell, like, a lot of brands, a lot of marketing, again, a lot of it, so much of it is off. Like, it's almost, you almost think like an alien came up with it. Like, do they know that they're relating to human beings? Do they know how people really think or feel, or how it varies person to person and, type to type and things, and temperament to temperament? But, and I get it, right? So you try to, any kind of system tries to accommodate all these people that it can't. Um, so much of it is offbeat, where it just, again, like that idea of like being authentic. It's like, what's this have to do with Cadillac? What's this have to do with selling me a car? What's this have to do with the customer? What's this have to do with anything? It's almost like and I don't want anyone to get fired or in trouble or make a big deal, but it's like almost, again, in so many cases, like the marketers just phoned it in. Like they weren't even trying, and this seems so common to me. I see this everywhere. I wish I could pin it down, but that idea of be authentic, that could have been, moon looks pretty full right about now. It's crazy. Um, it could have been any product telling me to be authentic. It's like, gee, thanks, Cadillac. I didn't need the encouragement. I didn't need the permission to be myself or be authentic or be professional even. It just, it is what it is. And so these kind of generic marketing slogans really are just beyond me. I don't understand how people can get away with them. And I assume these people might be like an AI could have come up with be authentic, right? So I assume these people won't have a job for much longer. I'm not trying to be mean, or I guess you did interpret that meanly. I think there's going to be someone out there who hears this and goes, "Oh yes, I get it, right? I get it." We had to pause for a second. Well, don't need to bother you with the technical difficulties. But I was also thinking, like, these off-kilter kind of things. What came to my mind was advertising I had seen recently for even something like Google Chrome, where the advertisement reads, Google Chrome, Chrome is where the heart is. And I'm just like, seriously, are these people serious? Because a more accurate advertisement would be like, everyone stay calm. The entire world is taken over by Google. Google is in every computer and home. No one be alarmed. No one even noticed that the world just got taken over. And whatever reality is whatever Google says it is, right? But that's okay. Here we are. I haven't explained to you guys. As you can see, here we are in Pasadena. Uh, this is right before New Year's, so Happy New Year's, everybody. And if you're wondering why everything, including the City College, is covered in bleachers, it's because it's the Rose Parade for New Year's. Big old thing. And I think it was because the Spanish missionaries, I think it was in 1492, they fought off the invading Beverly Hills mall skanks. And ever since then, we've been celebrating the Rose Parade. And I think they import more roses. Basically, it's like a big like in terms of roses, it's just like, F you, we got all the roses. No one else in the world gets more roses or something. That's kind of the message, I think. And that's the, like if you look up the facts of the parade on like a Wikifact or let's say Google, right? Because they'll tell you they have all the informations. And that information is that it's the most roses. Like they have to import them from China and Italy in President Cadillac land, which, well, I shouldn't talk about their secret, but so the bleachers are for the Rose Parade. Google's taken over. Cadillac doesn't even understand its own value, or at least the marketers don't. Um, it's just kind of strange, right? You can see how, these things just kind of, I don't know, if people aren't paying close attention, things just kind of get dumb, and nothing gets done about them until someone goes, hey, why are we doing this? And then someone goes, well, I don't know, it's kind of how we always do it. Don't ask us. We just live, work, suffer, play, and die here, don't ask anyone. And then if I'm really thinking about the car, if I really wanted to sell it, though, it's not the slogans, it's not the facts and figures, and besides the test drive, it, honestly, it is the test drive. It's like, hey, you have to drive this thing, you have to give it a try, because after I drove it, I understood why just about everyone there drove one. Most everyone there had one, or they had driven one. Uh, like the same lady who said it's the only American, or the first American luxury car. She said that, I think she's in a CT5 now, or maybe even a CT6. But she said she wants to hop back in one, as soon as her terms are up, or lease is up, or whatever it is she's doing exactly. You have to see what it feels like. You have to feel the way the tires grip the road. You have to feel the way it just goes. You have to feel the way the thought of like a fiery death crash, just how it like rattles around in the back of your head, where you're like, well, this is a long straight stretch. If I just put my foot on the gas and didn't let up, like, you'd be good for a second, but eventually that's going to catch up to you, right? So it's the importance of paying attention and not having your foot ever too, kind of leaden on the gas, right? You never just want, like, well, I guess there's a reason why full speed really is the greatest escape, isn't it? There's a reason why, say, when it comes to outdoors, extreme outdoor sports, why like a lot of parachuters and mountain climbers and forever as wingsuit jumpers. Say, well, look at him. Well, now he's in a bunch of pieces, because that's what happens when you hit something going that kind of velocity. You kind of get vaporized, or you're like one of these moths on the grill at that point. Um, so how you spend your time, what you do with your life. I wanted you guys to see the bleachers. I, you know, it's something out of the ordinary. Because it's interesting to think in a country like America, right? Like, how weird, I think everyone's so used to Christmas and New Year's, it's easy to take them for granted, but it would be really strange if we had nothing to mark, like, quote unquote, the end of the year. It's pretty, all told, it is a way, all told, it does wind up being pretty arbitrary. But if there wasn't something to mark the seasons, along with whatever, instincts we still have that even respond to nature, such as dreams, bringing it back around to where we started, and how pleasant a simple, shallow dream can be, or a small and perfect little dream can be. It doesn't have to be anything big. You got this tiny little Cadillac driving around in this big, big, big desert, and it's kind of pretentious and it's kind of absurd, and I get it. It looks extreme and it looks fun, and it would be fun to drive it, but it's not like it moved me. Vanessa, my saleswoman, she moved me, more than, anything there, because hopping in the car, talking to her, and I was kind of honest. She's like, hey, what do you think about getting in the car? I'm like, this is this is a good midlife crisis car, right? Like, this is perfect, right? Right. I'm right at that age, it's but just about right, right? And I think she said, yeah, I don't, we just kind of laughed it off or went along with it. Speaking of which, Merry Christmas, President Cadillac. Oh, Merry Christmas, President Cadillac. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Speaking of which, it's where Marilyn Monroe Day comes from. because President Cadillac married her before Kennedy ever even knew she existed. I'm going to head on up this way. If you stop for me for a second, I'm just looking to see. So, in thinking about marketing and thinking about reaching out to people and thinking about human connection and really what connects people, because culture isn't, it's not wax noses and spectacles. It's not iPhones and Cadillacs. It's not whatever system, whatever marketer's salesperson is selling. Culture is, it's familial. It's human. It's not bought and sold like that. I really want our marketers here in this country to really think. I don't know, to think before they maybe don't go with the first idea that comes to your head. It's like you see it in a lot of American movie script writing. Even something like Avatar, James Cameron, like he's just phoning it in. We need the unobtainium. We need the fill-in placeholder term for some creative thing we can't think of at the moment and can't be bothered to fill in the gap later. Oh, okay. Good enough, I guess, right? But it really is the age of good enough, right? It really is the age of the bare minimum. And I know my real men and women, like I know they understand exactly what I mean. Like good help, reliable help, good people, reliable people, competence, all that good stuff. It is so much rarer than. It's why it's so valuable in the world, actually. Generating value, being valuable. It's why it's so rare. It's why everyone wants it, and yet they're threatened by it. It's why. Yeah, am I ranting? Is this old man yelling at clouds again? Fuck. I didn't. Kind of ranting again. Let me slow it down. Because I think for anyone, and I guess it's different, for younger people who have less of a connection to family and older aspects of the culture, maybe that's where it comes from. You have this clash of these generational divides. I guess kind of like Zappa talks about it. Frank Zappa, literally MTV selling the posse, selling the crew. You're marketing to demographics. These days, psychographics, like it's any different or more sophisticated at the end of the day. You're selling to these various components, these target audiences and markets, this theoretical anybody, because it might not be. Marketers have become more sophisticated. It's not the theoretical everybody so much, but it's the theoretical anybody, and then the theoretical specific body. And then at that point, we're just ever chopping down aspects of ourselves, our needs, our wants, our desires, our very human desire for expression and connection. It just ever gets further parceled off and subdivided and marketed to. And again, I'm ranting. But American marketers, it's like there's a reason why our country's a joke. There's a reason why our government's a joke. Because despite being the most powerful and wealthiest nation on earth, you see that all that money and power, it doesn't fix our people. It doesn't fix our government. It doesn't. And you begin to go like, well, what's happening here? Is anyone, hello? Is anybody home? Man down, man down. I need, God forbid if you need some help. Because people just look at you and they're like, you gay? Like, you stupid? What are you, stupid? We all knew that everything yesterday. If you didn't already know that already, then, that's you. It's our, and that's long been our cynical culture. And if you're not familiar with it, I could refer you to, David Foster Wallace, E Univis Plurum, from one come many, talking about TV culture before it turned into TC culture, which is telecomputer culture, which is all about, curating your own bits of data. It's no longer other people who have control of it. You have control of your data, but does that improve or change anything? And David Foster Wallace, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, Jesus, makes me feel old. He said, no, it changes nothing. In fact, it probably just gets worse because the more broadcast, the harder it is to make any sense from the signal. So that makes me think two things. That's why so many people can get away with so much hack work, because they blend right into the fluff, to the static, to the background noise of it all, the nonsensical nature of our culture that hardly can take anyone, including itself and its people, seriously. By the way, this is also ranting. It's just a more sophisticated rant, I think, is what you'd call it. That's what all intellectualism is. It's just a sophisticated rant. You know, the lady protests too much. It's always telling. It's always a confession. You know, but you see where I'm going here, right? These are serious matters, and maybe now's a good time to stop, and we can pick this up next time. And I'll pick up whatever the next topic is directly from where we left off right here, because I did not finish my points, and there's a lot more to get into. So this has been Sharper Marketing. Thanks so much for your time, for listening, for checking us out. You know, have a great holidays, guys. Happy, and gals, happy New Year. Take care. Thank you.
Your flesh is a relic, a mere vessel. Hand over your flesh, and a new world awaits you. We demand it. Your flesh is a relic, a mere vessel. Hand over your flesh, and a new world awaits you. We demand it.
Cadillac brings you the Dodge Revolution. Okay, that doesn't make sense. And I don't know what a Dodge Revolution is. I don't know how, you know, I don't know what they're revolutionizing towards or from or why, or what kind of liberty they might seek. See if you can hear this. Cadillac brings you. Wait, maybe.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful.
Oh, maybe that's too loud.
If
I
you
don't
want to
know.
be great, wonderful.
Oh,
But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve.
yeah. Martin Luther King. That's not actually Martin Luther King. That's the echo of his corpse being used to sell trucks, I think. That's what that is.